Your bra is on fire, say hi. Your bed is a living house.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV, here today to bring you another album review on which we're going to just jump into. Xiu Xiu, Always. This is a band, experimental art rock, very aggressive music from California. This is their 8th album in 10 years, so very prolific band. These guys are crazy. In the research I've done, I haven't historically been a big Xiu Xiu fan, but now I've I've listened to a few of their albums now, and then this one in particular, reviewing it, really getting to know this album. Tom, how would you describe Always in sound?
Oh man,
that is a loaded question. It's not really possible to do it.
No, it's very, very hectic, very kind of anxiety-ridden, electronic-based music. There are some slower tracks, incorporate some strings and piano, but even through those sections, the vocals are just so dramatic and so dark and gripping. I mean, Jamie Stewart, the leader of the group, kind of the mastermind behind it. I mean, he has people working with him, don't get me wrong, but he writes a lot of the songs. He's the vocalist, and his voice is just so... It's so scary. Right. And the way he sings everything and with the dark lyrics to match, it's just so hollow and desperate and kind of panicked
and anxious.
Sounding. Yeah.
And it's that and the vocals are really the capstone of their sound.
Absolutely.
And while there is guitar, there is bass, obviously there's drums or beats of some kind. It's the big synth noises that you hear that really blend and make this thing kind of fill the sound out. Which at times can be a good thing, and sometimes it can be a bad thing, depending on what point of the track that you're on. Because I feel like some of these tracks really take it to the next level. They just throw this level of intensity at you that is just... I honestly, I don't know if I've heard music this intense as like at the end of I Luv Abortion or Black Drum Machine, the closing track. This album really just goes for that just primal rage at times. And at the same time, within like the same track even, you can have these really poppy elements too. These moments where it's like this melody, it should be a poppy melody, but at the same time, like I get these really mixed contorted emotions with it. So it's a cool feel.
One thing that really made me like this album is just something that's personal taste. You have to understand about me. I love music that scares the crap out of me. I like music that makes me feel uncomfortable because that's when I know I'm being tested, and it's when I know that my taste is being stretched. Because, I mean, and for this exact same reason, a lot of people are going to be immediately turned off by this. Because a lot of people, the function that music plays in their life is something to cheer them up, something to make them happy, to just to feel good about. For me, I have certain music that does that for me, but I really regard music as more of an art. And obviously, Xiu Xiu had a very direct message with this album. They were making statements, and lots of social commentary on here, especially like tracks like I Luv Abortion and Factory Girls. And so those spots where it makes me that uncomfortable, but I know that they're trying to make a point, just hits that point home that much more. I think it makes it that much more effective. And so I really appreciate that from an artistic standpoint. And I mean, it's not just about being artsy and kind of pretentious. I think the music's just good too. It's enjoyable to listen to. At least for me, I really don't think, this is not a very accessible album at all. This is one of the more inaccessible albums I've heard, but if you are attracted to that kind of darker, twisted side of things, I think you'll get a lot out of listening to this. It is definitely will stretch your taste, and I appreciated it for that reason.
And they do such a good job of using lyrics in a manner of not just, lyrics are so often used just to fill, or just for a reason to have vocals. But Xiu Xiu is actually using lyrics for a specific purpose, and it's to creep the crap out of you. And their whole point is to use the lyrics to cause you to have emotions, and that there in itself is art, and something that I have to respect when listening to this. One thing, Tom, I noticed is that from the second you turn on this album into the second it ends, this album hauls ass. The average track length on this album is sitting around 3 minutes, maybe a little under. The longest track is the last track on the album, and that's just because it has a normal kind of song to it, and then it just completely changes and goes crazy on you. But other than that, the track lengths are kept short, the tempos are kept up, and really the song, what it does is it just kind of keeps this energy going throughout the song.
It just barrels on.
And really, that's kind of it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I feel like I never have time to really settle into the ideas that are being presented there, because so many ideas are presented on every song, and you never get a chance to catch up with the music. You're always being just bombarded with new sounds in a very aggressive manner, and it's just kind of a lot to take in. So repeat listens is a must for always. You absolutely have to listen to this quite a few times to really soak it all in, which I always appreciate because it makes the album more worthwhile in the long run. I gotta say, one of my favorite tracks on this album was track 6, The Oldness, which is this creepy, very somber piano ballad.
Yeah.
Which actually I'll need to mark that it is a track pick for me. But that, I think that the band also does a good job there of showing that they can be emotional if they need to. They can be calm and write good music that way too. So they're multi-talented. They got great ambition, a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things to like about Xiu Xiu. So if you're not on board already, this is definitely a band worth checking out to at least see if you can get into it. Tom, where are you sitting with this one?
I'm going to give it an even 80.
Yeah, that's a good score. This is a good score. I'm sitting at 77. I think that right in that upper 70s range, I would have liked to see this be a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more focused too. I feel like sometimes, part of it's just inherent nature of being so crazy.
Well, it's so all over the place. I mean, I think that's what they were kind of going for, but they could have done a little more.
But, to hold myself accountable, I do think that over time, I would see that score go up as I listen to this more and more. This has a good comeback quality to it for me. What do you guys think about Xiu Xiu? And always, let us know at www.velocitiesinmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesmusic. Also, find us on Twitter and Facebook. Say hi. Hi. All right, anyways. But that's where we talk with all of our fans. That's where we really get our good feedback from you guys as to what we're doing right and what we need to do in the future and all the music that we listen to. So make sure you make a connection with us there because we'd love to talk to you. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
We'll list you in drugs to woo and onslaught